Hi, my name is Kayode Adegbola. I'm a lawyer. I'm also interested in politics and policy. The reform agenda. Uh, I'm not particularly sure there is a reform agenda. I think that what we have now is just politics. And with a stroke of luck, some development. I think that with the current federal government, um, there have been some successes. But for me, I would say that the reform agenda of the federal government has failed largely. Uh, so, in terms of its successes, we now know that there is an international airport in Enugu which was just opened, and with which there are direct flights to China on Ethiopian Airlines. That is very good for the country because it just links the traders in Enugu State and environs directly to China, as opposed to them having to go to Lagos first. But while we consider that, we must also realize that we don't have a national carrier, but we have a presidential fleet of at least 10 aircraft. So yes, there's an international airport from which people can go to China from Enugu. There is no national carrier, and so therefore a lot of the money for the airfare. I mean, first of all, there will be a monopoly, and then so the prices will not be particularly based on the market forces, and it would have been a lot better for us if we could maintain a presidential or sorry a national if you could maintain a national carrier or bring back Nigerian Airways. Uh, Some failures of this government's reform agenda include the very popular Lagos Ibadan Expressway, which has more or less remained the way it has been since it was built. Several contracts have been awarded. A contract has recently been awarded after the revocation of a concession. And several months after a commission with quite a lot of fanfare, there's still the the contractors have not moved to the site for work. A lot of accidents happen on that road daily, a lot of deaths. I think that a lot more could be done, and even for the politics of it, there's a lot to gain from developing areas of popular interest and high population density. So, for a road where everybody who is traveling from one side of the country to another uses, or from Lagos to everywhere else in the country uses, it's important for that road to be in good condition, and it just that reflects on the state of infrastructure across Nigeria. At state level, there's obviously no uniform progress or uniform development. Nor can we say that there's a plan to do certain things by certain governments. Uh, what I mean by that is that there, there are cardinal points which uh, government hopefuls use to campaign, but there's almost no way of checking. I mean, the electorate does not do enough to check the, pro, the progress of those cardinal points. So for me, obviously, the uh, key indicators of development include physical infrastructure, and also a bit more personal to me are some low-hanging fruits such as education, health, and water. For example, I think that for a rural and even in urban societies, education is the most important need that should be met. It is very important for helping the mindset of the people and also building the future of the country. So if the rate of educated people that come out of a certain society increases, then growth and development in the country will also increase. For example, today I was traveling between Ilorin and Ibadan, and just as I was heading out of Ilorin on Airport Road, a group of people had set three men on fire and were taking pictures of what they had done. The men were dead by this time, and I saw a police van coming, driving towards the scene, and I thought, okay, well, at least something will be done about it. Only to look in my rearview mirror and realize that the police actually drove past the scene. Uh, it made me think again about the mindset of our people, even though, I mean, they might have had one reason or the other for their action, but I mean, not everyone will know, and obviously they did not know that it's not right to resort to jungle justice. So I think that things like that we need to rid our society of, and that can only happen through good education. Um, I think that health is also a very important factor, and I think that the low hanging fruit side of it is primary health care centers, which can be spread around local governments, which should be effective, and then a referral system to state and national hospitals, which should be very well equipped. I think that a lot of the money that is being spent on fuel subsidy, for example, can be diverted into such projects. I think that water is also very important, and this more or less ties into health because good water ensures or at least makes gives better chances of good health. I think that the impetus for reform more or less goes without saying. The ways in which we have done things have not worked, and so we must try other ways. And I think that a lot of this has to do with our style of politics. Uh, if every vote counted, or if voters made informed choices, then we'll probably have slightly better government. Unfortunately, we play money politics, and whoever has won an election after spending so much money is mainly interested in recouping their so-called investments, as opposed to developing the area or the state or the country which they have been voted into to run. So I think that that's a very important aspect of it. So reform of the development agenda is necessary, and it's the only way in which things can change in Nigeria. I think that the leadership is the most important, and a new group of leaders, because and unapologetically so. I think that our current government has failed us, failed their generation, and failed our generation, and it has become for us to take a stand, get involved in the politics, get involved in the policy, get involved in the development process, and I think that this can only happen, or at least this can begin to happen at the ballot box, and so we have another chance to change things in 2015 when we go to vote. But realistically, we're looking at a few more years before we begin this change. Some of the states where one can visibly see such progress are states like Rivers, states like Lagos, Ekiti, Oyo, Oshun, Akwa Ibom, where there's a very high rate of infrastructure development. And I think that if that development needs to be more uniform across the country,